for the government side of the team. First, they say that Africans can't fund themselves even to eat. Yes, we also agree to this. That's why we believe that giving them fund to adapt with the climate condition is unnecessary. Because as we know, the most problem now in America is that they're starving. They don't have money to eat. So why do you think that they will use the money to adapt with the climate when they still need to eat? And I will explain this more in my argument later. And then they also say that Asia countries is already capable to help themselves. But we believe no. We can see this. We can see that they're not capable because the example is Indonesia. Indonesia can fix their own fire in Kalimantan. And Indonesia still needs help from Singapore, Malaysia, and many more. So we believe that Asia's country is not capable enough to fix the problem in their country. Next, my first argument is we believe that on factories factor, the status quo right now is enough. Because as we know, in the status quo right now, most countries already give prevention of the smokes of the factories. So we believe that on factories factor, the status quo is enough. The example is China, Germany, and most countries in the UN. They already agree to their statement that they will add more filters in their factories to reduce pollution, and they will also close some of their factories to decrease the pollution itself, so that it won't disturb the African itself. And then third, they also agree to use the green technology. The example is using biotechnology instead of the factories itself. So we believe that the factories factor in the status quo right now is already enough. Now, on my second argument, what's on the status quo that we need to change? And also, why it's not justified to fund Africans for the adaptation for their climate condition. Because as we know, in the status quo right now, it's really hot in Africa, and people they have to cover their heads when they're walking around because of how hot it is in Africa. And we believe that the first reason is because African people are not educated enough, and unlike the developed countries, people in developed countries already have they have been educated since they were still young. And in the status quo right now, as you know, a lot of adults in Africa are not educated enough. So we believe that by giving them fund to adapt with their climate condition in Africa, it will be unnecessary. Why? Because we believe that Africans won't be able to process the money that they're given from the developed country itself. We believe that they don't even have education. We believe that even educated people, there are a lot of even educated people that can't process money that they were given or that they will have. What about the people that don't have education? So we believe that people that don't have education, in this case African, are not able to process the money that the developed countries will be given to them. And as we know, in the status quo right now, the developed countries will give the Africans fund, and of course the developed countries will tell them what to do with that money, blah blah blah. But of course, the ones that are doing the next step of that money itself is the Africans itself, not the developed countries itself. So this is what we're going to change in the status quo. And then the second reason is because developing countries like Africa have so many problems. And the example is their primary needs. First, they don't have enough clothes, they don't have enough shelters, and it's still hard for them to eat. And as we know, these are the primary needs. And as we know, they also, in the status quo right now, they still need these primary needs, and it's not enough for them. So if we compare to the climate adaptation itself, which is the secondary need, of course, with no doubt, the Africans will use the money itself to complete their primary needs instead of their secondary needs. Because imagine yourself in this situation. you need to adapt with the climate adaptation.